Welcome to the Shreveport Connection. This is Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown and 205 Live results. Happy birthdays, as usual. On the 9th, Todd Grisham. He was born in 1976. On the 10th, Tamina Snuka turned 40 years old, while former WCW Buff the Stuff Puff Bagwell turned 47, and WWE star Brian Christopher Lawler, Jerry King Lawler's son, turned 46. Samoa Joe was announced on Raw that he will be in the 30-man WWE Royal Rumble and that he's planning on eliminating John Cena first. But the speculation was on Joe versus Cena being planned for WrestleMania 34 is noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that they will not be working each other at WrestleMania. Joe and Cena are scheduled to face other opponents at upcoming Raw live events, and there's no word on yet who their WrestleMania opponents will be. On a related note, Raw General Manager Kurt Angle announced on Tuesday that Joe suffered an injury on last night's Raw. Joe was in the running to Bayley's mixed match challenge partner, but due to the injury, Elias will be Bayley's partner after fans voted. Raw Tag Team Champion Jason Jordan was also eligible, and you can see Angle's tweets, and we'll keep you posted on Joe's status. The injury to Joe is legitimate and not part of a storyline. No word yet on when it will be back in action, but he is suffering from a right foot injury and will be undergoing an MRI. Also noted that Joe announced on Raw that he would be in the 30-man Rumble later this month, possibly out of action. During his match, Samoa Joe felt a pop at the bottom of his right foot, said senior ringside physician Dr. Chris Aman. We took a look at and believe he has a plantar fascia rupture, which is a thick tissue rupture under the foot. We will get an MRI to confirm. Treatment includes a period of immobilization in a boot with crutches and platelet-rich plasma injections. Samoa Joe will be voicing also, outside the ring, he's going to be doing a voiceover for Predaking character in a new Transformers Power of the Primes animated series that is scheduled to launch during the second quarter of this year. Joe joins Ron Perlman and Mark Hamill on the cast. If you're not familiar with Mark Hamill, the former Luke Skywalker in the original Star Wars movie. Also noted earlier, Joe apparently suffered the injury on last night's Raw, but WWE has not announced additional details of this video other than he was doing an MRI. And he tweeted on the new Transformers gig at Samoa Joe. Very happy to announce that I am joining the cast of new Transformers animated series. Hashtag Predaking lives. Hashtag Transformers. Jeff Hardy adds new musical performances to his 2018 tour schedule while he's off of WWE right now. Nashville, Tennessee, January 9th. News. Legendary professional wrestler and singer-songwriter Jeff Hardy has added several upcoming musical performances in North Carolina and South Carolina to his 2018 tenure. For more info, tickets, links, and VIP, which I did not get the link on that. Well, January 18th. Amicie's Pizza Bar and Grill from Concord, North Carolina. Special acoustic performance. On the 19th, Real Cafe from Wilmington, North Carolina. Special acoustic performance. February the 2nd, 507 Live, formerly the Live Wire, from Florence, South Carolina. 2003, February 3rd, 2018, from the Vault in Hickory, North Carolina. Speaking of Florence, South Carolina, I've been there once for a bowling tournament. That was back in my heyday. After already achieving great success as a professional wrestler, Hardy released his first solo project in 2016, a 6-song EP entitled Spawn of Me. That was dedicated to his daughters that same year. He also launched his online web store, which features an art gallery with his original paintings. In 2017, Hardy released his latest album, Precession of the Equinoxes. Hardy continued to to use his natural adrenaline rush to follow his heart in both his career and personal life. My family, pro wrestling, motocross, music, and painting are part of my human anatomy. They are just as important as my organs. I need them to live. For more info, including tour dates, visit jeffhardybrand.com and engage with Jeff Hardy on Instagram and Twitter. You can purchase a copy of Jeff's new record, Precession of the Equinoxes. You can go to jeffhardybrand.com. WWE Hall of Famer Jerry King Lawler was set to appear at Friday's Memphis Grizzlies NBA game for wrestling night as the Grizzlies went up against the Washington Wizards. Lawler's appearance included a quick wrestling match against Double J, Jeff Jarrett. The J-E, double F, J-A, double R-E, double T. If you're not familiar with him, that was his little gimmick in WWE years ago. Who recently completed a rehab stint thanks to WWE, who was also the owner of GFW. After a guitar shot, Jarrett ended up defeating Lawler in a match to take the Grizzly Weight Championship, but only for a few seconds, or counter to that, because photos and action can be found in pics of these links here for you. And also, the ones that were in action, thanks to Devin_Walker5 on Twitter, Memphis legend D'Angelo Williams got in the action with a run-in to help the Super Grizz defeat Jeff Jarrett and keep the championship belt in Memphis. WWE.com announced that the former WWE Diva and winner of the first ever WWE Diva Search, Christie Hemme, made news this week as she was preparing to undergo surgery to give birth to quadruplets. Just over the weekend, Christie updated everyone on Twitter that she successfully gave birth to them. And I'll show you pics of that over here for you. At an eSport event in Tennessee, a gamer delivered a super kick to one of the commentators, paying homage to the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. Can be found in this link. I haven't seen the video. Wonder if it was quality of his dedication. Insane Championship Wrestling. Yeah, that link for you. Insane Championship Wrestling in Scotland has issued the following regarding James Storm's appearance at their Fight Club event. Cowboy James Storm comes to ICW. America star to appear on biggest ICW Fight Club event ever. Insane Championship Wrestling have announced the debut of the American wrestling sensation Cowboy James Storm to the promotion. Storm is set to perform on the company's ICW Fight Club event on Monday, 12th of February at the O2 ABC in Glasgow. The event is part of a doubleheader in the O2 venue that sees the biggest ICW Fight Club event ever being held the night after the annual Square Go on Sunday, the 11th of February, where a new ICW Championship contender is crowned in a 30-person over-the-top elimination match. The announcement follows months of speculation surrounding Storm's rumored move to American juggernaut WWE and its thriving NXT brand, with Storm now on one of the hottest free agents on the independent wrestling circuit. Fans have been desperate to see the former TNA Impact star appear for the Glasgow-based promotion, and Storm promises not to disappoint when he steps into the ring Monday, the 12th of February. Speaking of Storm's debut, ICW owner Mark Dallas said, James Storm is someone who I've had my eye on for quite some time. We've been waiting for the right time to work together, and I can't wait to have him on our biggest Fight Club show ever on 12th of February. Over the last decade, we became a household name in professional wrestling. The crowd of Glasgow are going to go nuts for him. That was the end of that segment. Wrestling legends Hulk Hogan and Sting are both scheduled to appear at the Comic-Con event in Glendale, Arizona on January 15th. Both men cut promos about the event, and it can be found in this link. While Hogan stayed in character throughout his video, Sting could not contain his laughter while trying to match Hogan's intensity. On the SmackDown Live, following the Clash of Champions pay-per-view, the newly crowned U.S. champion Dolph Ziggler left his title in the middle of the ring and has not been seen on WWE TV since. This is an ongoing tournament that will crown a new champion, and the tournament will conclude at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view on January 28th. According to Cage Side Seats, Ziggler is expected to return either at the Royal Rumble or the SmackDown following the Rumble. There has been other rumors regarding the storyline that involves Ziggler returning with his U.S. Championship, culminating in a champion versus champion match between the winner of the tournament and Dolph Ziggler. Kind of redundant to me. According to Dave Meltzer, during the latest installment of Wrestling Observer Radio, the chances of fans seeing Neville return to WWE are slim to none. As you are all aware, the former NXT champion walked out of the company mid-October for his own reasons, and there reportedly were talks between the two parties about a return, but the talks have fell out. Meltzer stated that Neville is still under contract with WWE, but now WWE will make him sit out the remainder of his contract. So when his contract ends, he can go somewhere else because he has not wrestled for longer than 90 days. 2017's World's Strongest Man, Eddie Hall, recently interviewed by Sports 360, and during the interview, Hall stated that he has been contacted by the WWE before, and there has been talks amongst his team about joining the company. After all, Braun Strowman is a formerly World's Strongest Man. Here's what Hall had to say regarding the topic. Hall says, "I've won the World's Strongest Man, and that was my goal. If I were to go back now, it was so stressful, and I put a lot of pressure on my body to win it. I'm only 6'3", and I've achieved a body weight of 440 pounds. And to put it blank, if I stay at that weight for so long, I'm going to kill myself. We've been approached by WWE, and it's something we'll look at. But I'm doing so well with all the appearances, the endorsements, and all the potential TV work coming my way, so I'm just bidding my time. Me and my manager are just going to pick the best option and go from there." And here's a video of him attempting to lift 500 kilograms, which is 1,102.31 pounds, but he shortly collapsed afterwards. And another video, the second link, he's lifting 536 kilograms, which is 1,181 pounds, and it is a record on an 18-inch bar. Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio has released the trailer for the 2018 Fastlane pay-per-view, which will occur on March 11th and is a SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. As previously reported, the venue had the main event for the show listed as Fatal 5-Way for the WWE Championship, featuring AJ Styles as champion versus Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton. And there was something on there, trailer for the 2018 Fastlane pay-per-view released. Well, also advertised was a Raw 25th anniversary, possibly 5 hours. And that was done by Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. Well, there's a bit of confusion as the TV Critics Association Twitter account uploaded a photo of Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, who were representing WWE at a winter panel to promote Raw 25th anniversary show. And the caption on the photo read that Raw 25 would be a 5-hour show. This led to a bit of confusion about the length of the special on January 22nd. But Ryan Satin of Pro Wrestling Sheet and Dave Meltzer confirmed cleared it. The Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio has released the promo package can be seen at this link. The main event still being promoted along with the advertisement of a returning John Cena to SmackDown. The Undertaker was backstage for this week's episode of SmackDown in Birmingham, Alabama. According to PW Insider, no word yet why he was there, but the dead man was there. Why he was there could be possibly just to go over plans for the big TV return at the Raw 25th anniversary show. since he was already in the area for the January 22nd in New York City. SmackDown opened up with a look back at last week's main event. Apparently, there wasn't any dark matches prior to the TV portion of it, so I didn't get anything. Which all they took a look back at last week's Sami Zayn getting a non-title win over AJ Styles for last week. Live from Birmingham, Alabama, Tom Phillips welcomes us to the show. He's joined in by Corey Graves and Byron Saxon. I think they need a new announce team, don't you think? We go to the ring, and out comes Renee Young, as she has a few chairs set up. She brings out her guest, AJ Styles, champion. She asks if the handicap match at the Royal Rumble was a fair decision. Styles says he was being sarcastic when he mentioned the handicap match last week, but he can't take it back what he said. And the match that the SmackDown General Manager Daniel Bryan made, Styles goes on and says he may lose the title, but his strategy is simple. Hit them fast, hit them hard. AJ says that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are professional, and logic tells them that the longer the match goes, the better chance that they have because they can tag in fresh men. Renee asks if AJ thinks the decision was fair. Fan chant for AJ. AJ says the decision was not fair, but neither is life. He goes on, and Renee asks if Bryan is playing favorites. Fans do the Borgasm yes chants. And AJ says that he doesn't know what Bryan's deal is, and he tries not getting in Bryan's business, but it seems like Bryan is pushing him into it. Renee asks about SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon next, as those three were out. And next, AJ says that he's not going to get into it. He's not pointing fingers. AJ goes on and says he can't allow those two idiots to take his title from him. He has to retain. AJ says he will beat Sami and Kevin Owens on the same night in the same match. And then there will be no doubt that SmackDown is interrupted. He was about to say the house that AJ built. Music interrupts. Out comes Owens and Sami. Oh, they get your 5 chairs there, no? Owens mocks AJ and calls him the regretful or the remorseful instead of the phenomenal. Fan chant for AJ as Owens goes on. Owens says AJ has no chance of walking out of the Rumbles with the WWE title. Sami chimes in and says, yep. Owens says when it's all said and done, they will be the first ever co-WWE champions. Some fans boo. Owens talks some more trash before they start the yep chant. Music interrupts and out comes Shane McMahon. Shane says he has to agree with AJ here. He doesn't think that it's fair that AJ has to defend like this. Shane doesn't understand why Bryan would make this match or why he would give these clowns another chance at becoming WWE champion. With that being said, Shane does back Bryan's decision to have the match at the Royal Rumble for now. Shane wants to talk about having a different handicap match here tonight in Birmingham. Fans pop. Shane announces Sami and Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles. Shane's music hits and he leaves as the music hits. We see Shane go backstage and approach Bryan, who was watching. Bryan comments on Shane being puzzled at the decision and says he made a hell of a main event for tonight. They shake hands and Shane looks at Bryan confused, then walks off. We see AJ celebrating up the ramp by holding the title in the air. Still to come segment, first round of the U.S. tournament wraps up. Also, Becky Lynch versus Ruby Riott for later on the show as we go to commercial. Well, that match was up next. Back from the break, out first comes Becky Lynch. SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair was out next, followed by Naomi. They will be watching from ringside to even up the odds. Out next comes the Riott Squad, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan. Bell rings and they go at it with Becky taking Ruby right to the mat. Becky slams Ruby a few more times to stand tall. Becky grabs Ruby again, and they go to the ropes. As the referees count, Becky keeps control. Logan tries to grab Becky's leg. Ruby tries to take advantage of the distraction, but it backfires. Becky tosses Ruby out into the rest of the squad, and we go to commercial with Becky standing tall in the middle of the ring. Actually, she goes to the ropes to lean over as they go to commercial. Back from the break, Ruby has the body scissors on Becky, who has been confirmed for the Royal Rumble. Becky breaks free and gets some offense in the corner, but Ruby turns her back around. Ruby keeps Becky grounded and drives knees into her back. Ruby with a abdominal stretch in the middle of the ring. Becky looks to make another comeback and rolls Ruby up for a 2 count. Becky unloads and drops Ruby with an uppercut. Becky with more offense and a suplex. Becky nails another suplex. Becky goes for a running kick, but Ruby moves and drops Becky with a kick. Ruby goes for the right kick, but Becky blocks it and puts her under the armor for the win. After the match, Riot Squad retreats to the stage as the babyface stand tall in the ring. We see a video from earlier today as Sami Zayn revealing to Becky Lynch that they are mixed match challenge partners. And they give each other hugs. They did a video of it earlier. Still to come, 2-on-3 handicap main event. Back commercial. Ascension versus Bludgeon Brothers was up next. Back from the break, the Ascension awaits as Bludgeon Brothers make their way out. We see the Fashion Files video from earlier that ended with Breezango backing out from being in the Ascension's corner tonight. The bell rings and the Ascension double team Harper to start the match. This eventually backfires and Harper floors Victor after Connor gets dunked. Rowan tags in and double team Victor for the quick squash match win. And they not only delivered their finisher on one guy, they did the other one too. As Rowan and Harper stood tall over Rowan as their music hits, they invite Connor to enter the ring, but he holds off. As soon as they attempted to tease to leave the ring, Connor came in to check on Victor. Rowan and Harper then got their attention back to Connor and attacked him, leaving him lying with their finisher. Oh, forgot what they call it. Still to come segment, Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin want justice from last week as they won their match and then got taken away. Bobby Roode was out next to a pop as he's sitting there at the announce table to watch the next match. And we get U.S. title tournament match, Zack Ryder versus Mojo Rawley. I've already predicted that match as Mojo Rawley won, winning that one. Back from the break, we get Zack Ryder already out with new theme song. Bobby Roode watches from ringside as Mojo makes his way out with his new theme song. The winner of this match will face Roode in a second round tournament match. Mojo enters the ring and exits. We get a look at the U.S. title belt on display at ringside. Bell rings and Ryder connects with a drop kick as Mojo tries to stall and talk some trash. Mojo comes back in the ring and takes Ryder to the corner with a thrust. Mojo runs into the knees but comes right back and knocks Ryder off the top rope. Roode watches as Mojo mounts Ryder from behind and talks trash while beating on him. Ryder gets a 2 count. Mojo keeps control and talks more trash while beating Ryder around the ring. Ryder counters a move and nails a neckbreaker. Mojo charges, but Ryder drops him. Ryder with more offense now. Ryder goes for the broski boot, but Mojo rolls to the floor. Ryder kicks him through the ropes anyways. Ryder follows and rolls Mojo back in the ring for a 2 count. Mojo ends up turning it around and getting the win with a big running right hand in the corner. Mojo advances to face off Roode in the next round of the U.S. tournament. After the match, Mojo so tall as his music hits, we get a look at the updated tournament brackets. Roode enters the ring and faces off with Mojo. They just do a stare down. Mojo backs away while pointing at Roode. Roode does his pose as his music hits. Jinder Mahal's backstage with the Singh brothers. Jinder says 2017 was defined by him because of his WWE title reign. Jinder says no one thought it was possible and no one thought he was deserving except for himself. Jinder says he now has his eyes on a new prize, the WWE US title. Jinder says he will face Xavier Woods in a tournament match next week, but he hopes Woods knows he's already lost. Jinder says Woods and the New Day are a fad, but the modern day Maharaja is forever. We'll see Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable backstage walking, getting ready for their in-ring segment. As we go to commercial, back from the break, announcers plug the Raw 25th anniversary show. That's supposedly 5 hours long. And I'm going to look up probably a Raw and SmackDown event. All stars be on there. We see Mixed Match Challenge partners Natalya and Shinsuke Nakamura backstage after their team was announced early on Tuesday. Back to the ring as Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin out for justice. Heel faction. Gable and Benjamin entered the ring. It was the footage from last week's controversial loss to the SmackDown Tag Team Champions Usos. Gable asked fans if any of them knows what it takes to be a winner. Hours of training. Neglecting family and friends, all to chase down one goal. Gable asked if they know what it means to be a success, to show your risk paid off, and that your life means something. Benjamin gets a pop for mentioning Alabama's big college football win, but they turn to booze when he starts knocking the fans for sitting on their couches and stuffing their faces. Benjamin says Georgia was robbed due to a bad referee call. I agree in the game from Monday night, just like last week on SmackDown. And the boos continue. And the referee didn't even see it because they went to instant replay. They're bringing instant replay into wrestling. Gable talked about how they won last week and set the titles free from the Uso penitentiary. They were walking up the ramp, happy as can be, and then it sounds like fans are chanting, "Roll Tide," to interrupt them. Benjamin now talks about how the second referee came down to overturn their victory last week. Gable keeps asking why the referee was even in the match. Benjamin says it boils down to jealousy. Fans are doing the what chants now. They go on knocking fans and the referee from last week, saying he's a snitch and snitches get stitches. Gable says a crime was committed last week and Benjamin demands justice. Gable says that they didn't lose to the Usos last week. They lost to instant replay. They call the referee down to the ring, but instead, out comes Daniel Bryan. Fan chant Bryan's name. He understands the euphoria of thinking you've won, and he definitely understands that what it's like to work hard and have something taken from you. Bryan doesn't care about what they say about their opponents, but when they start knocking management, Bryan says they are cold. Hard rules that the roster needs to understand, and one of those is that the decision of the referee is final. Benjamin goes on about how they won the match last week. Bryan says they didn't win. They pinned the wrong Uso. Bryan goes on and says they stand behind the referee and his decision. Gable mocked Bryan and says he's taking it out on them because Bryan's boss is mad at him. The segment ended with Bryan apparently making a 2 out of 3 falls title match between the two teams at the Royal Rumble. Bryan leaves after starting a Borgasm Yes chant. We see Randy Orton backstage warming up. AJ Styles walks in and they get on the same page for tonight's main event. Orton needs AJ to trust him when they say that they're on the same page, but also trust him when he wins the Royal Rumble because he's coming after whoever has the WWE title at WrestleMania 34. Shinsuke Nakamura appears and said, "Not so fast." Perfect English. Nakamura indicates that he's also going for the title. Still to come, Rusev Day versus Breezango. Back to commercial. Back for the break, Rusev is in the ring with Aiden English. English starts singing to announce that both of them will be in the Rumble match. Tyler Breeze and Fandango are out next. English starts off with Fandango as they go at it. Fandango takes control and places English over the top rope. Tagging in Breeze for a quick double team, English falls to the floor. English is upset as Rusev checks on him as we go back to commercial. Back for the break, English has control of Breeze. English with more offense before going to the top and missing a senton. Breeze finally gets a tag, and in comes Fandango with chops on English. Taking him to the corner, Fandango with a big backdrop and more chops now. English kicks Fandango and tags in Rusev. Fandango drops English, but Rusev runs him over. All because he's posing in the crowd, doing his hands on his shoulders like the gay gimmick. Rusev takes control and yells out for a pop. Rusev charges Fandango in the corner and then hits a spinning heel kick for another pop. Rusev readies for the accolade, but Breeze runs in. Rusev tosses Breeze to the floor. Fandango with a close 2 count on Rusev. Breeze comes back in, but drops him. Fandango takes advantage of the chaos and rolls Rusev up for the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. After the match, Breezango retreats and celebrates, going up the ramp, and also recovering. Rusev Day is shocked in the ring. Breezango celebrates on the ramp as the music hits while Rusev throws a fit. Daniel Bryan is backstage watching. Shane McMahon walks in and Bryan praises Breezango for connecting with the fans. Then gives props to the tag team division. Shane says he and Bryan are not on the same page right now. Shane knocks Bryan's decision making and points to the WWE title handicap match and how we might have co-WWE champions. Shane also points to the 2 of 3 falls match for the SmackDown tag team titles and says the Usos won last week, so they shouldn't have to give Gable and Benjamin another shot. Shane asks Bryan if he's doing okay. Shane doesn't want to offend Bryan because he might have a lot going on in his life. Shane says Bryan is coming off as unstable. Bryan could say the same thing, especially given Shane's gene pool. Shane says that they will just agree to disagree, and he's going to leave Bryan alone as Shane walks off. So the come segment, Styles teams with Orton and Nakamura to face Owens and Sammy. Back to commercial. Back from the break, announcers plug the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. 2-on-3 handicap match for your main event. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles and Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura. We go to the ring for tonight's main event. Out first comes AJ Styles as Greg Hamilton does the formal ring introductions. Randy Orton was out next, followed by Shinsuke. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn were out next. Back to commercial. Back from the break, Sami is in control of AJ, who reaches for a tag. Sami brings AJ right back to the mat. Owens tags in and keeps AJ near their corner. Owens talks some trash while working over AJ. Owens with a clothesline for a 2 count. Owens keeps AJ grounded with a headlock. AJ finally gets a break by nailing a neck breaker to counter Owens. Orton gets a tag and unloads on Sami as he also comes in. Orton with a clothesline and power slam. Orton with a second rope draping DDT on Sami. Next, Orton hits the mat and calls for an RKO. Sami gets up and blocks the RKO, and Owens runs in with a steel chair. Shot to the gut of Orton. The referee calls for the bell. Momentarily, winner by DQ, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and Shinsuke Nakamura. Not just yet. Hold on a second. After the bell, Owens delivers more chair shots to all their opponents. After they're down, Sami and Owens back up the ramp, and out comes Shane McMahon once again. Shane tells Sami and Owens to hold on just a second. He announces that the match will now be no count out. No count out. That's all he says. And they restart the match. The reporter says that it was a no DQ after that, but that was because Daniel Bryan came down. AJ runs up the ramp, delivers a steel chair shot. AJ beats Owens around with a chair. They go into the backstage area. Sami is at ringside with Nakamura now. Orton appears on the other side of Sami as he's trapped at ringside. Sami tries to run away through the crowd, but they stop him and send him into the ring post. Orton takes half the steel steps and decks Sami with him. Sami gets tossed over to the announce table next. Orton slams Sami on top of the announce table. Of course, it doesn't break because the monitor and everything else is still there. Orton brings it back in the ring, and Nakamura hits a Kinshasa on Sami. Orton nails the RKO and covers for the win. After the match, Orton and Nakamura stood tall and they pose. And we get 205 Live. Vic Joseph and Nigel McGuinness. Welcome up to the show and previewing Enzo coming out in a bit. Also Cedric Alexander versus Tony Nese for later. Earlier in the day, TJP taunted Graham Metalik about winning the Cruiserweight Classic. Graham Metalik welcomes him back. Kalisto tells TJP he's living in the past and is going to get left behind. TJP says he's the original and bounces. TJP versus Graham Metalik. TJP charged in. Metalik with some big chops, handspring off the ropes. TJ dodged it. Metalik with an early roll-up pin, 2 count. Metalik goes for a dive to the outside, gets hit. TJP tries to throw him into the steps. Metalik jumps him, comes back in and hits Hurricane Rana off the steps. Back inside the ring, Metalik goes to the top, gets knocked down. Trio Woe as TJP stomps his face. Running drop kick by the former Cruiserweight champion. Goes for a pin for 1 count. Commentary talking about Metalik's knee injury. We'll see if it plays into the match. TJP with a springboard forearm. Pin for a 2 count. TJP out to the apron, flips over the top rope and crashes down on his opponent. Pretty sure the crowd tried for the "We Want Tables" chant. TJP goes for another pin for a 2 count, starting to look a little frustrated. Both end up with the second rope, Metallic with a sunset bomb. Ouch. TJP ends up getting a kick to the face and then drop face first on the mat. Metallic walks the ropes, missile drop kick, pin for a 2 count. TJP then grabs Metallic's mask to get a break. Metallic goes for another handspring, but gets kicked to the back. Double gutbuster, pin for a 2 count. TJP is yelling in anger. TJP gets kicks to the head. Metallic up to the top rope. Walks the ropes again. Flying elbow. Metallic driver. Pin. And that'll do it. Winner of the match, Ryan Metallic. Post-match, Kalisto comes out to celebrate with Metallic. Both leave the ring. TJP gets up and says, "Shut up." He gets all mad. "What are you looking at? You think this is funny?" As he tears apart the announce table. He throws the steps and a chair and finally heads to the back. Nope, he comes back and throws over some more steps before heading to the back. Crowd sends some boos his way. Recap from Raw of Enzo getting checked out by the doctor. Nia Jax comes in to the room to check on Enzo. He tells her he's good. We see Enzo getting stitched up. Backstage, Dr. Fuentes talks with Enzo and asks about his injured ankle. Enzo says he's built for tough, but the doctors haven't cleared him for action. He says if he could fight tonight, he would. Tony Nese shows up and says, 4 weeks ago, the Zoe train beat some sense into me, and they did. Nese wants back in. Enzo says, "You think it's easy?" Nese says he wants in and not as one of his cronies, but first in line after Enzo. Jack Gallagher heads out to the ring. We'll see a recap of Brian Kendrick getting destroyed by Hideo Itami's GTS. Last week when Gallagher used a lead pipe to beat up Itami, got her in the ring with a mic. Gallagher says Itami isn't here tonight and has some bruised ribs. Gallagher says the scales are not even tough compared to what Itami did to Kendrick. I'm here to ruin Hideo Itami's life. Gallagher goes to continue, but Itami shows up and heads towards the ring. Gallagher tries catching him first, but Itami nails him with some punches. Gallagher tries to use the umbrella again. Itami caught it, then used it himself. Taking a big swing at Gallagher, who ducks and heads out to the crowd. Backstage, Cedric Alexander talks about the outcome of his match against Enzo. He says he'll get another chance and will be sure to take the title next time. Enter Goldust, who says Cedric needs to watch out for Enzo's mouth and that he has Nese in his back pocket. Cedric isn't worried. If he needs to, he'll just injure Enzo's other ankle. Pretty awful segment between these two guys. Beat up Enzo Amore limps to the ring and introduces Tony Nese. Tony Nese versus Cedric Alexander was up next. Nese starts off strong, keeps checking in with Enzo as he gets him in some offense. Nese coming off like a dork tonight, even more than usual. Action to the floor. Nese slams Alexander on the barricade and does some more taunting. Nese tosses Cedric back in the ring, cranks his neck as Enzo yells at him from ringside. Alexander nails the jawbreaker, but Nese gets control right back. Pin for a 2 count. Finish the job, kid, Enzo yells at Nese. Alexander tries to string together some offense, but Nese keeps firing back. Alexander able to stun Nese, heads to the apron, big kick, flatliner into the ring. Nese bails to the outside. Alexander, with a massive flip over the top rope, hits it cleanly. Nese instantly thrown back in the ring, pin for a 2 count. Alexander tries for a lumbar check. Nope. Schoolboy roll up for a 2 count. Alexander heads to the apron. Springboard clothesline. Nese is able to drop Alexander, goes for a second rope moonsault. Lands on his feet. Kick to Alexander. Handspring attempt by Alexander. Caught in midair. Nese dropped him over his knees. Stomach first. Pin for a 2 count. Nese tries to keep him down. Goes for a pump handle slam. Alexander countered. Land awkwardly on his knee and sells like he's in pain. Nese waits for a moment and then charges in. Alexander quick roll up for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Alexander shakes it off and shows his knee was fine the whole time. He laughs and smiles as Nese and Enzo head into the ring. Enzo tells Nese to get the hell out of his ring. You think that's a joke? Enzo yells at Alexander. He continues yelling and taunting. Alexander goes for a bad ankle. Enzo dodges it, but then gets kicked in his good ankle. Lumbar check by Alexander. Puts the champ down. Well, he delivered what he said. Alexander picks up the title and sets it behind Enzo's head. That concluded the 205. And what happened in the dark match after 205 Live. And this week's from Birmingham, Alabama, Usos and Bobby Roode defeated Gable, Benjamin, and Jinder Mahal in 6-man action. And that concludes my SmackDown 205 Live results. Peace out, see what I want to be. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.